We're live. We should probably see if we sound. Ever since that one time, I don't want to sound like Darth Vader. I should have had you do this before.
Hi, Melinda. Can you hear us okay?
All right, let's see.
Do we sound like robots?
We're live. I don't want to sound like Darth Vader. We don't sound like Darth Vader. So I'm going to put my phone away. Okay.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, everyone. All right. They can hear us loud and clear, so this is good. So I've been like messing around with a couple of gadgets to make this better. I don't know if it worked or not. But I think there's like weirdo emojis, but I didn't check on my phone. But whatever. So we're trying to do something a little bit different than we normally do. We do the live Q&A, which is really cool, and it takes forever. And sometimes I feel like they're boring, and we answer the same questions. So what we decided to do, and maybe this will work, maybe it won't, we're going to try it, is to actually pick out a topic before. And honestly, most of the topics that we're going to talk about in the next few weeks are stuff that we get questions for all the time anyways. So with that said, we're going to kind of try to keep them short and not repeat ourselves like I tend to do, and just pick a topic. So we were actually, we celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary on the 14th, which was Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Which is super cool. And so we did a lot of thinking. Like it's obviously you do a lot of reminiscing and looking back and that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, so I just want to talk about this. And so we're going to attempt to answer the question, can a whole food plant-based diet affect a marriage? But can I do a disclaimer right away? This is going to be different for everyone. And we're just talking about our particular experience. That doesn't mean that this is everyone. Like, right. This is just our opinion. That's all it is. We're just talking about it. And it's kind of fun to talk about. But so I get like, okay. And the other thing, Heather actually hates doing these. Don't you?
Right.
Yeah, she absolutely hates doing these. So thank you for doing these, even though you hate them. And she doesn't like to get blindsided, and we didn't talk about what we're going to talk about, and she gets freaked out. But it's just a conversation.
Right.
So I guess the way to start this off is, Heather, has a whole food plant-based diet affected our marriage? And if so, how?
Yes, it's made it much better. We both, I feel, give more to our marriage now. I think we have a lot of things in common now that we can do together, and our main goal is to be healthy for each other right now.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I think the key to any marriage is being selfless, right? Like always putting your partner or spouse ahead of yourself. And one of the ways that we found to do that is by taking care of my health, I'm actually benefiting you greatly by doing that.
Correct.
The flip-flop of that was when I was drinking and using fentanyl and stuff, that was probably the opposite, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's made our marriage better, but we didn't have like a terrible marriage to start with.
Right.
Right.
Right. We still cared about each other. We still loved each other, but I don't think we were giving sometimes 100% to each other.
I don't know. I mean, I guess. She's getting mad because she doesn't like this. Because maybe, maybe, what if our 100% is different now? Like, what if my 100% was all I could give you? Because that was all I was able to give you, right?
Right. For certain things, yes.
Right. But now I think both of us are able to contribute to our marriage there's much more to give,
Right.
right? Because we're not always tired. We're not always laying on the couch. We're not, always dragging. Like,
Right.
and we did do stuff together. I mean, we spent our lives together, but the stuff that we did together was watching movies, eating out, eating, watching movies, and then watching movies.
Right.
And we spent time together.
Right.
Now, like I was thinking, our 25th anniversary, how we celebrated, would have looked much different 10 years ago, 8 years ago, 6 years ago.
Right.
We would have never. First of all, traveling was very hard.
Right. We probably wouldn't have gone very far because you couldn't travel.
Right.
Most times, and if we did, it was just. It was hard to travel because we always had to pull over in different things.
Yeah, I used to.
It would have made the trip even longer than what it was, and it would have been miserable.
Right. I mean, I used to get a lot of. I used to get very car sick, very nauseous from all the narcotics. Would make my head spin, and so I couldn't really drive that far. But yeah, things would have definitely been different. But I think that now, like, every aspect of our marriage has changed, right? And I wrote about this before, and this is kind of an interesting thing, because what I don't want to have happen, and we talked about this before, we've done interviews on this, we have kind of a really weird kind of circumstance where, I went plant-based, and I was plant-based for a while, and it's not that you didn't support me, you just weren't plant-based, and then you kind of eased into it, and then all of a sudden, if people know your story, you kind of flipped the switch and went 100%. Mm-hmm. So for much of my plant-based journey, I was alone, not unsupported, but alone.
Right.
So we have that aspect. But there, I know for a fact, I can think of like 3 people right off the top of my head who get no support from their spouse. None at all. In fact, they get the opposite. They get kind of ridiculed for being plant-based. So this is not all peaches. Like it's not like you go plant-based and all of a sudden it fixes your marriage. Because if you had problems in the first place, plant-based isn't going to fix it. Right. But it definitely can enhance it, I think. Mm-hmm. But it also could cause friction if a spouse is not willing to be plant-based and the other one is. I mean, I have friends that it's harder to go out to eat. It's harder to do parties. I just had one of my buddies said, yeah, his wife made him this giant cake and it wasn't plant-based by a long shot. And then she kind of got aggravated because he wouldn't just, go off plan for one day to eat it. So it definitely could cause friction. Right. Yeah. So it is not a very easy topic, but so for us, it has helped in a ton of different ways. Can you think of anything like example, like specific example? Cooking, what does cooking look like now compared to what it was?
Oh, you do most of the cooking, which is great because I hate cooking, but it's much more easy, much more healthier.
But as far as we spend a lot of time in the kitchen together.
Right.
Even though you don't cook.
Right.
You do dishes. You can.
Right.
Yeah. So a lot of
where before we went plant-based, it was all the box and the junk food, and it was
toaster oven.
Me or you, whatever, throwing stuff in, walking out, and then one person cleaning up the mess sometimes.
Right, or opening a box because we called someone, picked up a box, opened up a box.
Right.
So I feel like we definitely spend a lot more time in the kitchen together. And the other thing is the fitness aspect of it. That's kind of a new thing. And I'm not saying that everyone that goes plant-based turns into an athlete. But I mean, today we spent a better part of the day. I didn't really run with you, but I rode my bike while you were running, and then I joined you for a few miles of your run. Mm-hmm. So I think we spend a lot more time together, like quality time together, than we used to.
Yeah, because when you're sitting in front of a TV or going to the movies, you're really not communicating. You're just watching the television. Or you're at a movie theater, it's dark, you're not talking, you're not communicating.
Yeah, I think like sitting in front of the TV is probably, one of the most brain dead things you can do as a couple. There's no relationship building at all.
Right.
And we definitely, you know, even today, like when you're out struggling on a 20-mile run and you're getting tired, I can be there to support you, and we both feel good about you finishing.
Hmm.
And where if we sat in front of a movie, you know, the most conversation we have is like, well, that really sucked.
Right. Or I'll be running and I'll be waiting to see your face, your smiling face, and that helps me to continue on. And, then later on it might get hard again. And then I am looking for you again and knowing that you're there for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So definitely for us, a plant-based lifestyle made it a whole lot easier. Now, I know that it's kind of like, honestly, like we're kind of in the minority on this because many people that go plant-based do not have their spouses on board. So, and I get that. And like, I feel bad about that. But at the same time, I can tell you, like from my own experience, that the best thing to do is not push, like don't push it. And the best thing you can do to show your spouse that it's working is actually get it to work. And live life happy and full, and and make not just your spouse but everyone wonder what you have that they don't. And this is not going to work by trying to force it down someone's throat. It just doesn't work that way. And I can tell you, I have a ton of friends that were plant-based. Their wife wanted nothing to do with it, and then all of a sudden, slowly and surely, they came along, and then all of a sudden, just like what happened to you.
Mm-hmm.
So don't give up hope
Right.
just because your spouse isn't on board. Give it time. And this is terrible, but for most people to go plant-based, what usually happens is some sort of catastrophe, which really sucks. But for both of us,
Right.
My transformation started with a couple catastrophes, and yours did as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the norm. And I'm not saying, hold on for a catastrophe, but it doesn't have to be like that. It sucks that people wait that long till they actually have to change. But just hang in there and something might click. A doctor's visit, high cholesterol, diagnosed with type 2, whatever that is, it might click. And then all these seeds and groundwork that you've been planting may all come to fruition later. So,
right.
Yeah.
So just be the example and do your thing, and, try not to argue and fight about it, but, that's what you want to eat and that's what you want to do. And, they can do what they want, and hopefully eventually they'll come together and won't have a catastrophe, and they'll join you.
Well, that's actually, you bring up a good point, because there is that part of it is standing your ground, right? Like that's like, I didn't even think about that. That is true.
Especially if you're doing it for your health.
Right.
Wanting to be healthy and not just, I want to be plant-based to lose weight. It's to be healthy.
Yeah. And that can easily turn into excuses. In fact, I wrote a blog post about that a few years ago, that people tend to look at us and say, well, if my spouse would do this, then I could do it. And you can't have that attitude. Like that's a garbage attitude. You have to be responsible for you. And what I wrote this post, it says, we were a team. We were a team 25 years ago, right? We're a team now. It's just, we play a different game now. I mean, we were a team when I got to be 400 pounds. We were a team when you got to be 200 pounds. We were a team when we used to go out to eat every day and eat garbage food. We were a team when we lay around the house watching TV all day. We did that as a team. We did that together. And we didn't really see anything wrong with it. It's just what we did.
Right.
And now we're a team. We're training together, and we eat healthy together. We help other people get healthy together. We're still a team. So my point is, like, I think the attitude that I wrote about was, I'm doing this for us, but it's still, I'm responsible for me. Because just as easy as it is to say we have twice as many chances to succeed as someone whose spouse isn't plant-based, we also have twice as many chances to fail. Think about that for a minute. But if I get up in the morning and I have 5 miles on the calendar that I'm supposed to do this morning, and so does Heather, and it's kind of raining a little bit and she doesn't want to get her hair wet, she can
I
convince
do
me.
now.
Yeah, she
I don't
doesn't.
mind getting my hair wet.
Right. But it's hypothetically, right?
I know.
She
Just
doesn't.
kidding.
But it's easy for her to say, you know what, it's supposed to be nicer tomorrow. Why don't we just hold off? And I'm like, you know what, you're right. Right. So we just doubled our chance not to get to the front door. So I think, like, I have the attitude, I would love for you to come along with me, but if you don't, I'm still going to be healthy anyways, and I'm
Right.
still going to be fit anyways.
Right.
And I think that's the attitude that we have to have, right?
Mhm.
Because we can pull each other down just like we build each other up.
Right.
Makes sense? So there's a question. I'm going to be in big trouble for this one. So I'm trying to word this really, I'm trying to finesse this because we've been asked this on interviews before and I totally dodge it. But let me just say this, like, every aspect of our marriage is better.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
And I'll just leave it at that. Every aspect of our marriage is better. So I hope this helped. What we're going to try to do is hit the questions later instead of me trying to figure out who's asking what. And we're trying to keep these short, which we did because we're at 16 minutes. And then what I would like to do is have a collection of these and we'll just title them with what topic we're getting the most questions. And I hope it helps, and have a great week. And
I have one thing.
one thing. Oh, she's crazy.
I love this sign.
Yeah, we bought a sign. It's kind of cool.
So eat plants, move your body.
And all you got to do is a little more than you did yesterday. And we'll see you next week, Sunday. Bye-bye.
Bye.